Is your job literally breaking you down? From a 10-year RN hating every second to students dropping out over mandates, the nursing crisis is exploding. It's the soul-crushing reality of working beside people who just don't give a shit. But is quitting without a plan the right move? Watch this full breakdown to find your answer, and tell me in the comments, is it time to walk away?
So, major life announcement. I left nursing. Am I going to stay gone? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm like 3 years away from retirement, and I have said in recent years that I will definitely be retiring at 62. No question. I know I can wait a little longer and get more money, but it's not worth it. Hold on. Sorry. I'm a little sad right now because I just watched the video of Charlie Kirk, and that's not really what I came to talk about, but I'm actually pretty devastated because we live in an evil, evil world, but maybe we'll talk about that later. But nursing, I can't do it anymore. I just can't. And it's not the patients, it's not the work. It's a lot of things. But nursing is draining. My daughter was in nursing school. She got accepted into the nursing program and she decided not to. The main reason was because they were requiring vaccinations, not the school, but the clinical sites. And so we talked about it for a few days and she made the decision to...
Saying this in the most respectful way possible, but no amount of self-care days, retail therapy is going to fix the absolute dread on your soul that is your bedside nursing job. Also said in the most respectful way possible, but sometimes it's just not going to get better. And it's actually really cool to quit a job that makes you miserable. And who cares if it hasn't been a year since you started? Who cares if you're going to lose your skills? Chances are the unit is always going to be short-staffed. The unit will always give you way too many critical patients at one time. The nurses are probably always going to be mean, and you probably weren't meant to be there in the first place. I am saying all of this because I wish somebody sat me down and said, stop choosing to be miserable. Stop allowing your job to consume your life. Stop thinking that you have to stay somewhere because of societal norms and choose yourself. Nurses love to wear their burnout and misery like a badge of honor. Like if you're not burnt out or miserable at your job, you're not doing it right. And that is such flawed logic in my opinion. And let's use critical thinking here and know that if you love your job and you have a healthy work-life balance, this video is not for you, but I'm talking to the people who have physical symptoms when thinking about their job, who have weight on their chest, who cry before every shift, who have so much dread surrounding the nursing career. I'm going to slap you in the face in a nice way and say, apply for other jobs and just quit.
I hate being a nurse. And that might be a strong statement, and I literally feel like I'm gonna get upset, but I have been a registered nurse for 10 years. I have changed jobs several times because everybody's like, the great thing about being a nurse is if you don't like one area, you can go to another. And I've done ER, I've done NICU, I've done private duty, I've done IV hydration. I've tried all these different things, and I hate it. I hate being a nurse. There are so many nurse content creators on here that love it, and like I'm so happy that they have found a career that they have loved. But after a decade of being a nurse, I hate it and I want a new career. So if you love your job and you make a good living, please comment what you do for a living, because I can't be a nurse anymore. I hate it. I am so upset. I just hate being a nurse, and I wish I had never gone into this career because it has broken me down so many times. And like, even when I try to get a low stress nursing job, it's not low stress. I'm still dealing with a lot of the same stuff that I used to have to deal with when I was working in the hospital, and I just can't do it anymore. I cannot do it anymore. And if you're looking to go to nursing school, don't do it. Do not do it. If you want to work in the medical field and you want to help people, go into radiology, become a radiology tech, become a surgical tech. Do not become a nurse.
You want to know what sucks? What sucks is working behind people who don't give a shit. It is heartbreaking how many people out here in healthcare just don't care. I am so flabbergasted at the amount of people who do not care about what they do. How do you sleep at night? Tell me, please. Because I would love to be able to turn it off and not worry about what you're not doing. I would love to be able to turn it off and say, you know what? Not my problem. I would love to hear a justification for how you signed up for a job to care for human beings. It's literally in the name, healthcare. Like, you have to care, right? Or am I just completely off base with that? How do you sign up for a job to care for human beings and you just don't give a shit? I'm sorry if I keep asking the same question, but it is astonishing to me the number of people that are employed as healthcare professionals who do not care. I am so beyond frustrated.
Man, listening to all of that just really sits heavy on your chest, doesn't it? I have to say, my immediate reaction is just a mix of heartbreak and total understanding. It feels like every time you open social media these days, you see another video like this. Someone who has dedicated their life to helping others just hitting a wall and saying, I can't do this anymore. It really makes you stop and think about what is actually happening inside our healthcare system here in the States. You have that one lady who is literally 3 years away from retirement, which is the holy grail for most American workers. We spend our whole lives grinding just to get to that finish line, maybe get that Social Security or that pension if we're lucky. And for her to walk away that close to the end, that speaks volumes. It tells me that the mental toll has outweighed the financial security, and that is a scary place for any professional field to be in. It is interesting, though, hearing about the different generations. You have the older nurse leaving, and then her daughter deciding not to even start because of mandates and requirements. It just shows how politicized and complicated working in healthcare has become. It's not just about fixing broken bones or administering medicine anymore. It's about navigating this minefield of hospital politics, red tape, and public scrutiny. But what really got me, and I mean really struck a nerve, was the clip about the coworkers who just don't care. That is terrifying to me as a potential patient. We all want to believe that when we go to the ER or the hospital, we are going to be treated with compassion. To hear a nurse ask, how do you sleep at night, because her colleagues are so checked out, is chilling. But then, listening to the commentary, you kind of get it. It's not right, but you get it. We are living in a time where people are working harder than ever and feel like they are getting nowhere. That paycheck-to-paycheck stress bleeds into everything. If you are stressed about your rent or your groceries, and then you go to a high-stress job where you're understaffed, compassion is usually the first thing to go. It's like this survival mechanism where people just shut down emotionally. And honestly, that nurse who said she's been doing it for 10 years and hates it, I felt that in my soul. There is this massive pressure in American culture to love what you do, especially in noble professions like nursing or teaching. If you complain, people look at you like you're ungrateful or say, well, you signed up for it. That gaslighting is real. I loved that she was honest enough to say, don't do it, go into radiology, be a tech. It breaks that narrative that nursing is the only path in medicine. We need to normalize admitting when a dream job turns into a nightmare. The badge of honor culture that was mentioned, where you aren't working hard unless you're miserable, is so toxic. It is rampant in corporate America, but it seems even worse in healthcare because lives are actually on the line. You shouldn't have to destroy yourself to prove you are a good worker. However, I do agree with the guy giving the commentary towards the end about the dangers of just rage quitting. It is a very trendy thing to say online, just choose yourself, quit the job. But the reality is, we have bills. The economy isn't exactly friendly right now to people with no income. It is a delicate balance between preserving your mental health and not ruining your financial future. His point about the struggle building character is valid to an extent, though I think there is a fine line between character building struggle and soul-crushing trauma. You want to look back and say you overcame hard times, not that you stayed in an abusive relationship with your employer for a decade too long. Ultimately, listening to this just makes me have so much respect for the people who stay and manage to keep their empathy intact, but it also makes me deeply sympathetic to the ones who have to leave to save themselves. It feels like the system is running on the fumes of these good people, and eventually the tank is going to run dry. It's a wake-up call that we can't just keep clapping for healthcare workers. We actually have to make the job bearable, or there won't be anyone left to answer the call light. It's a lot to process, but it's a conversation we definitely need to keep having.